Hold on to your hats, folks. It's another episode of Dreamcast Magazine where I just basically leaf through one of these old mags and talk about what's on each page. Apologies for the light. I can see that it's kind of shining here on the top of the magazine. Can't get the lighting right. Basically, this room is tiny and the light is directly above me. And it's quite sunny today, so the sun has decided that it's going to try and disrupt my video making. I've drawn the curtains, but still I've got this here. So you'll just have to put up with it, I'm afraid. I know this is hardly the way to introduce any video by telling the viewers that they're going to have to just like it and lump it, but yeah, that's about the size of it. So welcome to this video looking at Dreamcast Magazine issue number 9. This was released in the UK on the 18th of May 2000, so again 16 years. 16 years have passed since this magazine was pressed or printed even. Front cover is a nice little montage of Muttley from Wacky Races there, and he's laughing at the fact that he's about to get hit by an 18-wheeler for some reason. So that obviously gives an idea as to what's inside the magazine. We've got a preview of 18-wheeler as documented here, a review of Wacky Races, and also a little game called Half-Life is revealed for the first time, or rather for the first time in any depth. Let's get on with it though. Right, page the first is the usual with an editorial from the editor Simon Phillips. We've got some images here of black and white and some other things alluding to what comes up in the magazine. More contents. Okay, this is the cover feature. So it's all about American Pro Trucker 18-wheeler. And for those people who haven't played it on the Dreamcast, it's it's a good way to pass the time for all of about 10 minutes until it, kind of gets a little bit boring. But yeah, that's just a little bit about the arcade conversion of 18-wheeler to the Dreamcast. Moving on, a preview here of as unyet released Jet Set Radio and some more little details here. There's a little interesting snippet here about the MP3 Dream. What's it called? VMU. You've probably, if you just go to Google and type MP3 VMU, you'll find the same images over and over again of this little VMU with a speaker, a headphone jack that was going to be an MP3 player that never came out. But some details here on that. There's also some details here about a game called 10-6, which was an online game for the PC that was rumoured to be coming to the Dreamcast, and that allowed 999,999 players all to be online at once. I don't know if that was ever tested. I doubt it highly. But over on this side, we've got news about Quake 3 Arena coming to the Dreamcast, and also a little story about Toy Story 2 being delayed to the summer, just to have some graphical glitches fixed. I'm not sure they fixed them all, judging off the final product. Moving on, Super Magnetic Neo, really good game actually. That if you've not played it, it's basically like a bit of a rip-off of Crash Bandicoot, but the character Super Magnetic Neo has a head that is a magnet that you can change the polarities on, and you have to kind of jump over chasms by swapping the polarity and attaching to different coloured magnetic balls. It's really quite brain teasing, to be honest. Little information here about Sonic Shuffle, Mario Party-esque type game, and an update on Resident Evil Code Veronica. Next up, we have information about 4x4 Evolution. This game did come out in the US, never came out in the PAL territory, and it was going to be a big thing for online gaming. I believe that it can still be played online, and there's quite a big community that do still play it online for the Dreamcast. And then some speculation about different Dreamcast games coming from the PC. Obviously, the Dreamcast, we got Vampire the Masquerade and Dogs of War, neither of which, as we know, came to the Dreamcast. Fair Fighters advert there. Okay, next page, we have some news about Blue Submarine number 6, Hidden and Dangerous, Napple Tale, and Cool Cool Toon. Some of these games I've not actually ever played. I've never played Blue Submarine or Napple Tale or Cool Cool Toon. And a little bit here about Midway's arcade collection or classics collection coming to the Dreamcast. Competition there to win an MP3 player. Look at that. And a little thing here about ghost cars coming to the to MSR. Next up, an update on Illbleed, another one that never came out in the UK, and also Ubisoft's upcoming output for the Dreamcast. So they talk about F1 Racing Championship, Stupid Invaders, and Evil Twin. But they also mention, as I mentioned in the last game, in the last video, sorry, VIP, starring Pamela Anderson, Heroes of Might and Magic 3, again didn't come out. A game called Peacemakers, again that didn't come to the Dreamcast, so that's interesting. Moving on. This is that thing from the cover, the Half-Life news shots of the Dreamcast version unveiled. And then some more info there about Worms 2000 and Namco bringing some more games to the Dreamcast. I think that's just talking about like Namco Arcade Classics collection or something. Okay, US and Japanese news. This story here is about the on the some of the Dreamcast passport discs you were able to play Mega Drive and PC Engine games using like a download service. That's just detailing that. And here we've got some news on the upcoming Sega Sports Black Dreamcast in the US. It's a very cool system. I don't actually own one, but I would love one. And yeah, just some general import news really. Moving on. Preview here of Spirit of Speed 1937, possibly the worst game or one of the worst games on the Dreamcast. If you don't want to take my word for it, get a copy off eBay for next to nothing. Play it for 5 minutes and you'll know exactly why. It's terrible. Interestingly, on the latest podcast, we spoke about how many copies it sold in Japan, and I believe it sold around 87 copies. The Japanese version did, so it's quite a rare game now, the Japanese one. So that's Spirit of Speed 1937. Now this is quite interesting. This is a big feature on a game called Quark, which never came out. This is by Quantic Dream, the same people who did Omicron, the Nomad Soul, and it looks like quite a good looking game, an adventure game. And these shots, obviously I personally don't know how complete this game was, or even if it was running on Dreamcast hardware. It says here that it was 50% complete, and there are a lot of shots. Even if you go on the internet and type Quark Dreamcast, you'll find a lot of stuff about the game. But this is one that's never been discovered or leaked or anything like that, so how complete it was when it was cancelled, I'm not really sure. I will put scans of this page on the Dreamcast Junkyard main blog. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put a link in the description below, as other more prominent YouTubers are known to say. Okay, moving on. Again, this is another preview of Nightmare Creatures 2, another horrendous game for the Dreamcast. This is basically just a port of the PlayStation game, as far as I'm aware, and it even has like the pixelation and the really bad polygonal character models. Everything about it just screams cash-in port. It's terrible. Again, if you want to, if you don't want to take my word for it, by all means go and get a copy off eBay and have a go, but you might be clawing your own eyes out by the end of it. Moving on, again, Vanishing Point, another PlayStation port. This game was actually, it was kind of developed in tandem with the PlayStation 1, but for some reason on this page, they've got loads of PlayStation shots, and you can tell that by the pixelation and on the floor and on the walls, etc. It's a good-looking game for the Dreamcast, to be honest. I do quite like the car models, and yeah, it's worth checking out. Tony Hawk's Skateboarding needs no introduction, really. Brilliant skateboarding game for the Dreamcast. Well, it's brilliant on every system that it's on, to be honest. So yeah, that's worth getting if you see it cheap. There's that weird Resident Evil 2 advert again. Okay, Black and White. This was a big PC game from the era, developed by Lionhead Studios, I believe. Peter Molyneux, he's quite a well-known figure in gaming at the moment. He apparently recently had his Twitter account hacked or something. Yeah, this is Black and White, and this is quite a big feature, and this magazine in particular had a development diary running with Lionhead Studios, where they would give updates as these videos go on later in the series. When I get up to like the 15, 16 issues, there's a thing every month where they have a development diary written by somebody working on the game. So why it was completely cancelled and never seen again is complete mystery. But as you can see from these images, again, I will scan these and put these on the Dreamcast Junkyard so you can have a good look at them. But there's quite a lot of information here, and there's quite a few good screenshots. I don't know if they're from the PC version or not, but according to this, it was 40% complete. And some more screens, some more shots here, even photographs of apparently you've got the Dreamcast development kits here in the images, and somebody here controlling black and white on this monitor with a Dreamcast controller. Allegedly, that could just be a wire hanging down, but given the benefit of the doubt. So yeah, that's an interesting look at. See, there you go. Develop Dreamcast Diary Part 1. So that was then continued into the other issues following this one. Advert there for Star Wars Racer. Pretty good game, that, to be honest. This is a look at a game that was then known as Virtual Tennis, obviously, and wasn't out on the Dreamcast at this point. It was only an arcade game. But they were speculating that it was coming to the Dreamcast quite correctly, and because we know now that it did. I like this here, actually. This is quite fun. It's an advert for Dream Arena, which was the online portal for the UK and Europe for the Dreamcast. And this is advertising a fantasy football or soccer tournament where you could pick your favourite players and have them in a sort of fantasy football league. And if you won, then you would be sent off to the Copa America in Colombia. I'd love to know if anyone actually won that, and if they did, they actually went to the Copa America, because that would be quite interesting. Just to read or hear their story, on what they did and where they went. So, okay, this is the review section, the main part of the magazine, and let's go through the reviews. Okay, so as mentioned on the cover, we've got Wacky Races, which is a really good kart racing game. Fantastic cel-shaded graphics, lots of replay value, loads of different worlds. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Diddy Kong Racing on the N64, because you've got this central hub, and then you've got all these other racing worlds, branching off that main hub. And it's really, really good fun game. So if you see that going cheap or even not so cheap, then it's worth picking up just because it's such a good game. And this got 93%, very well deserved in my opinion. Next up, Sword of the Berserk, Guts Rage. Again, it's quite a decent scrolling beat 'em up, but it's full of cutscenes, and there's not actually that much game. For every 10 minutes of game play, you're watching a cutscene for about 8 minutes of it, and then for the other 2 minutes, you're actually just walking around swiping stuff with a sword. I mean, it looks good and sounds good, and it's got really good voice acting, but there's not much game in there, to be honest. It's more like an interactive movie, and this got 73%. Advert here for Spirit of Speed 1937. Another review here of Fur Fighters, another really good game for the Dreamcast. I believe it was ported to the PlayStation 2 as well after the Dreamcast one, and it was redone with cel-shaded graphics. But I actually prefer the non-cel-shaded graphics of the original. So basically a third-person shoot 'em up with different animals that you can control, and this one got 91%. Again, well deserved. Really good multiplayer mode as well, actually, up there with like GoldenEye in my opinion. From memory, anyway. It was years ago that I played it in multiplayer. Grand Theft Auto 2, it's more the same. The original Grand Theft Auto, really. Top down. It's got a slightly futuristic vibe to it. 81%. Never really been a big fan of the original Grand Theft Autos, to be honest. I mean, I like, obviously, the later ones, Grand Theft Auto 3, 4, 5, etc. But the early ones I was never really a big fan of. Same with that Chinatown Wars thing. I never really got into that either. Okay, moving on. V-Rally 2 Expert Edition. I think everyone's played that, haven't they? And that got 86%. It's quite a fair score, I would say. I don't know if anybody else has got this in their copy of V-Rally. When you take your finger off the accelerator, the revs go really high, and it just seems weird. I don't know if that's just in the copy I've got, or it's a bug that's in everybody else's copy. So if you do have that in yours, let me know, because otherwise I'm wondering if I've got a weird bug in my copy. Sega Worldwide Soccer 2000, they've been a bit nice to this, I think. They've given it 92%, and it's certainly not worth that. It's certainly better than the original Sega Worldwide Soccer, again, which was a PAL exclusive. And this was released, about 6 months later to coincide with the European Championships that were happening in 2000. And it's certainly a better game, but it's certainly not a 92% game. I'd give it, probably low 80s if I'm being generous. But yeah, they seem to think it was an amazing game, so yeah. Big advert here for gameplay. Okay, these are the import reviews now. So we've got King of Fighters 99, one that never came out in the UK again. None of the King of Fighters games came out on PAL for some reason. 72%. Carrier, which is a bit of a Resident Evil type game. third-person adventure. That's 69%. And then small import reviews here. We've got Puzzle Bobble 4 at the 92%, Gunbird 2 88%, Treasure Strike 72%. Treasure Strike's one that is quite interesting me. I know it's an online game. You're meant to play it online, but you can play it offline. And it's basically you just wander around these maps, collecting treasure, as you would imagine from the name. And I've seen it going really cheap on a couple of different websites, so I'm quite tempted to get it just to maybe do a review of it or a quick look at one of those articles. Sakura Wars 33%. They didn't like that. And Time Stalkers, I've got 70%. I've got Time Stalkers, but I've actually never played it, and I hear it's a very, very boring game. So that's probably what's putting me off. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of RPGs, but I have started playing a game called Rainbow Moon on the Vita recently, and I really like that. So that's a bit weird. Okay, this is the second part of the Tomb Raider Last Revelation guide that was started in the last issue, in issue 8. Well, it's coming in a minute. Letters page. Oh, that looks familiar. Take the Bullet. We've got some reader reviews here. We've got Trickstyle 72%, WWF Attitude 70%. That's very generous. UEFA Striker 92% and Soul Reaver 82%. I love these percents that old magazines gave games. You know, what makes one game 79% and another game 80%? You know, it's very like arbitrary, the numbers that they throw around. Okay, this is the online section, Web Watch, and this bit here details some little games that you could play on Dream Arena. I keep mentioning Dream Arena, and I hope I've explained it well enough for those people who are maybe in America or elsewhere in the world. Dream Arena was the online portal for the Dreamcast. You could only access it on a Dreamcast. So when you dialed up, that's what you were first confronted with. It was kind of like the home page or the home like hub of the Dreamcast. And because we have to wait so long for online gaming to actually come to, you know, to the UK and Europe, Sega gave us these little games that you could play via Dream Arena. So here you've got like a sliding puzzle game. You know, one of the things you get from a museum, like a gift shop, it has the the little bits of plastic that you slide around. So you have one of them with Sonic's face on it, and then like a sort of match the pairs game with different characters from Sonic Adventure. So you got Knuckles and Sonic and Amy there. So that was the extent of online gaming for a while, certainly in the PAL territories. While everybody else was playing, you know, Quake 3 or whatever, we were playing those things. Moving on, solutions. Again, so this is that Tomb Raider Last Revelation guide. I'm not going to spend too much time looking at that. Spoiler alerts, if you never played it. Spoiler alerts. Sorry, I'll try and... Good God, how long has it gone for? Right, getting to the end now. So this is the directory, and this just basically lists all the games for the Dreamcast. Got some DVD reviews there. You got Lady and the Tramp and some other Disney ones. Music review. Here's a review of Elliott Smith Figure 8. I actually bought that album. It was really good. There's a good song on it, Son of Sam. Yeah, that got 5 out of 5. Super for Animals. Jay and Silent Bob. Star Wars Episode 1 Adventures. Superman and Batman Generations. I love this section because it just shows you like all this really antiquated like gadget tech that they had back in the day that they obviously thought was quite good. So you've got these like MP3 players from yesteryear which are massive. This thing here, which is a remote, it's like one of them drone things you see now flying around. I saw one the other day actually when I was out walking, when I was out running. Sorry, it just kind of flew over me really randomly, and there was nobody near me to be controlling it. So I was like, that's a bit odd. But this one's got a helium balloon on top of it, so you'd have to fill it with helium first before you could fly it around. Obviously now they've got little propellers that keep them in the air, but yeah, it just shows how things have moved on. BB guns, stereos, it's all kind of junk. Dial game, they're back in again. Adverts. Next issue, E3. And there's some interesting screenshots here. There's one of those early MSR shots. And a shot there of Picasso. Oh, and a mystery free gift. I wonder what that was. I'll probably never find out now. More adverts. And then at the back, you've got a dream moment, which is regarding MDK2. And there you go. Back page is an advert for Four Wheel Thunder. Sorry, I know it's quite reflective there. But, yeah, that's Dreamcast Magazine, issue number 9 from May 2000. I hope you could see that with the light shining through the window again. I do apologise. But yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, as usual, thank you for your continued viewing support of my quite crap, really, videos, and visiting the Dreamcast Junkyard. Thank you.